Hello there. I'm back with another blind tasting. Um, you know, was handed this little bottle here, um, and in this bag is what was used to fill that bottle. So we're gonna taste it, or I'm gonna taste it, and I'm gonna not really trying to guess what it is. If I can guess what it is, that'd be awesome. Um, that's not the point. If I can guess what it is, I will. My point is to do a review sight unseen. I don't know what I'm tasting. I might pick up on it. I might figure it out. It could be something new that I haven't opened yet. It could be something that I have opened and am familiar with. Um, my hope is that I'm able to give a rating, an out of 10 rating, that's pretty unbiased and, you know, doesn't hinge on things that I might know about the brand or the specific product beforehand. So, um, I have someone fill the bottle. I don't know what they filled it with. I sit down, I do this review. It's a pretty simple premise, right? Hopefully, I can come up with some kind of good number to put on it, um, and some tasting notes that are kind of on the spot. Um, Hopefully, I'm able to do that in a good way. Um, yes, at one point, this bottle had something else in it. There we go. Um, that is not what's in there now. I do not have a bottle of that anywhere in my house. Um, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I didn't love everything in the tasting of this brand, Sagamore Spirit. Some of it was good, but some of it I didn't really appreciate a whole lot. This particular one, the tequila finish that was in this bottle, that was pretty good. But I didn't love everything from Sagamore. That should be true of every distillery. You can't love everything. Um, every distillery makes their own stuff, so um, they bottle what they bottle, and you taste it, and it's up to you whether it's good or not, right? These are my tasting notes that I'm about to do. You may try this on your own and have completely different tasting notes. Keep that in mind. This is my opinion, not meant to be an official kind of analysis. This is my review, so it's my feelings on this one. And when it comes to anything that's on my channel, that always applies. Uh, I will not claim to be the all knowing spirit master and tell you that everything is wonderful when it's not, but I'm going to tell you what I think of it. So, let's get started on this. Alright, let's get a good start with color. That is a very nice color. I like that color. It's a pretty good dark amber. You know, the lighting on camera might not be the same as what I'm looking at, but where I'm at in my lighting, it's a good, not quite dark amber, but a darker amber. It's very pretty. Okay. Does seem familiar, but so do a lot of whiskeys. I'm guessing this is a whiskey just because I get hints of, caramel, vanilla, which are barrel hints, but I'm also getting something sort of peppery. Kind of makes me think rye, but there's more to it than that. Um, it's got a little bit of corn sweetness. And I would say corn kind of overtakes that spiciness that is making me think of rye, but there's also kind of a bell pepper note. That could be what's accounting for that. Okay. So let it open up just a hair. I'm not always a huge rye fan. I don't think this is heavy on the rye. If there's rye in it, it's there, but it could also be getting that spiciness from something else. Kind of has a sweet aroma besides the corn, and I'm gonna call it honey. Um, get pear and some dark fruit, something like a fig or a date. I'm picking up an herb, something herbal. Um, Something specific though. Um, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna go with basil. That's what it reminds me the most of. Kind of a nice, fresh basil. Not the dried stuff. Pretty nice on the nose. Um, Not super exciting or out of the ordinary. Pretty nice. Has some good notes to it. So let's see. Definitely corn. Definitely corn. Still get a little bit of that spiciness. On the palate though, is not reminding me of rye. Just spicy. And not spicy the way something high proof would be. I would say this is not something that's barrel proof. Um, Maybe somewhere 90 to 100 ish. It's pretty smooth if it's 100. But it's got spice. It's got something that hangs on, like spicy, like cinnamon. Just kind of hangs out on your tongue. But also, a little bit of a white pepper. A white pepper note. If you're not too familiar with white pepper, it's got a kind of a subtle burn. It has a little more potency than black pepper, and it kind of hits a little bit towards the back of the palate, but not in a bad way. I like it. I use a lot of white pepper when I cook. I use a lot of cinnamon when I cook. That honey note is there on the palate as well, but kind of has a background like molasses. Also has a bit of a finishing note that reminds me of walnut. And I mean like walnuts. Um, Not like walnut wood or something like that, but actually eating a walnut. It's just that kind of bitter note on the backside. Yeah. Also has a mustiness. Like, what's a good example? Like, if you've ever been in the South, in a nice, humid place, obviously, but in like an old garage, the kind of garage that nobody's cleaned out. It's got, you know, trunks and trunks of old clothes and magazines and newspapers from, you know, 50, 60 years ago, whatever. That kind of mustiness. So, a little bit weird on the palate, but when you breathe in that kind of garage in the South, there's a mustiness that fills your mouth. That's what it gives me. Um, it's very not off-putting, but it's very specific. It's very odd. Otherwise, on the palate, it's very, very good. Um, at first, so let me give the caveat. It starts really nicely. It's on the backside is where the bitterness, the walnut bitterness, the musty weird kind of thing is. So that takes away from the overall experience. But in general, I like what it's doing. Um, I would say that it's fairly well balanced. It's not, too acidic. It's not too sweet. It's kind of pretty much right in the middle. Um, the fruit notes are there, dark fruit, some fresh fruit, some sweetness, the smokiness. All the typical barrel notes of a bourbon are there. And having said that, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I'm pretty sure this is a bourbon. Um, Although I hesitate to try and pinpoint it. It's very familiar, but that could mean that there's a lot of products like it on the market and I've tasted them, or it could mean that this is something that I know pretty well. I'm not sure. It could go either way. I would say color wise, that dark amber, I'm gonna give it maybe 3+ years as far as age. I think 3 is good, probably a little more. Um, but I genuinely enjoy it. Although that weird bitter mustiness kind of at the end throws me off just a little bit. But overall, I do think it's pretty good. Um, Having gone through all that and said all those things, I'm going to have a hard time going too high because while I like it, I don't love it. It's not amazing. It's good. Um, it's not a 10. If you know me or you watch me enough, you'll realize that I'm unlikely to give a 10 to very many. Um, I think the last one of these I did was, not a high score either. And it was something I made, so um, I'm not good at giving high scores to things. I'm pretty harsh when I grade something, um, and you can ask some of my students. I've been pretty harsh on them. Of course, they're adults, so they should be able to take it. Um, but I'm gonna, you know, 9 or 10's too high. I just can't justify that. Um, and it gives me a little bit of nostalgia, like a nostalgic feeling. So I'm pretty sure I know this one, and I'm probably gonna be surprised at what it is because it's very familiar. But I'm gonna have to go more in the 6 range. 6 out of 10 is where I'm gonna go with this. Drinkable, it's good. Definitely not bad. Definitely not generic. I would I'd be willing to bet that this has nothing to do with, you know, a neutral grain spirit producer, which in my book is a plus. But I can't go much past a 6. I'll be nice. How about a 6.3? That sounds like a good number. But still, not much past a 6. It was pretty good. You know, let's find out what it is now. Alright, so this was done earlier and put in the bag. You have to trust me. I promise I didn't look. But we're about to find out. I don't have a guess on what it actually is, but it is a bourbon. I'm almost positive. Ooh. Okay. It is a bourbon. It's a bottled and bond bourbon even. Leaper's Fork. So if you don't know Leaper's Fork is out in Tennessee. This is their bottled and bond, and it is 50%, so I was pretty close with my 90 to 100 guess. 70% corn. Yeah, that spiciness I was getting is definitely not from rye, because they give you what's in here, right? Wheat, barley, corn. So I'm guessing I'm going to give that to the barrel. Could be their process. Who really knows? I really like Leaper's Fork. Been to the distillery. It's a very cool place. Looks really, really nice and makes you think this is a place that makes whiskey, right? Their building is the main building that you do the tastings in and the gift shop and all that is not much bigger than the distillery that I work at. The distilling building is much bigger. Got plenty of barrels, really cool still setup. I got pictures of it. I did the whole tour and tasting thing actually last summer. Enjoyed it quite a bit. The people are great. They know what they're talking about. It was a lot of fun. So if you do get a chance to go out that way to Leaper's Fork Distilling, I highly recommend visiting. Very cool place. That's, let's see, what else did I get? 4 years old. Okay, so I said 3 plus. I'll take it. New American Oak, number 4. All right, so I apologize if anybody's offended, but 6.3, that's where I'm going to go. I do like these people. I think you should all go check it out. If you're in Tennessee, go visit Leaper's Fork. Very cool people. Good products. There's absolutely nothing wrong with anything they make. I will say, having just done this one in this format, I will say I have a bottle of their unaged Tennessee whiskey, their clear product. I do have a bottle of that. in our moonshine library up at the distillery. So I personally, I think I like that clear one just a little bit more than I like this one. They have other products. This is not their only thing. I highly recommend you check them out. I am a little surprised because obviously I've tasted it before. But doing it this way it's kind of surprising that I gave them a 6, because if I knew what it was, I probably would have gone a little higher, just because I have met the people and the experience was really cool. So um, there you go, 6.3. Leaper's Fork bottled in bond bourbon. Good stuff. You should definitely check them out. For now, that's it for me. I'm going to finish this, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.